So this isn't going to be the kind of review that you typically see on my channel. One, because I want to spend the bulk of the video talking about this exemplary release from Second Sight Films. And two, because I don't want to bore you with a plot synopsis and then a bunch of talking points about the movie and blah, blah, blah. This is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Hello?
Welcome to Pizowell Home Video.
If you're familiar with my channel, then you probably know that I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's my favorite horror film of all time. I consider it to be one of the most influential, not just horror films, but independent films ever made. It's the Citizen Kane of slashers, the godfather of contemporary horror cinema. It created the foundation that virtually every slasher since has followed in one form or another. It's a waking nightmare, the kind of movie you don't just watch, you experience. It's an attack, not only on the senses, but on the psyche. It has this tactile quality, a texture not unlike snakeskin. It makes you feel uncomfortable and unclean, and that at any moment it could strike out and bite you. You can smell the rot, you can feel the heat and the humidity. You can tell that everyone involved, both in front of and behind the camera, are miserable. They're all suffering, truly suffering for their art. But it's the psychological sleight of hand that the movie pulls on you that's truly extraordinary. You swear that you've seen a gore-splashed bloodbath, but Chainsaw contains very little blood and no gore. Chainsaw is tame when it comes to those elements. The movie is absolutely ferocious when it comes to the ringer it puts the viewer through. You feel like you should be covered in blood and gore in the end, just like Sally after escaping that farmhouse, because, like her, you feel like you've just barely escaped the movie. Chainsaw is a landmark motion picture, period. And I don't care what you say, Marilyn Burns is the original Scream Queen. Now, as far as this limited edition 4K UHD release from Second Sight Films, this is the kind of exquisite release that a movie like Texas Chainsaw Massacre richly deserves. First, let's take a look at the release itself. This release comes inside a rigid heavy-duty slipcase featuring simple but effective artwork. We get a stunning 190-page hardback book with new essays by Heather Buckley, Tim Coleman, Martine Contrario, Heather Drain, Lee Gambin, Caden Mark Gardner, Lindsay Hallam, Cerise Howard, Kimberly Lindberg, Annie Rose Malamet, Maitland McDonough, Neil Mitchell, Jerome Reuter, and Robert Scarla. Beautifully illustrated by Adam Stothard. Here is the case the discs are housed in. There's the 4K disc, and we get two Blu-ray discs. The 4K is region-free, or all-region, and the Blu-rays are region B locked. We also get 6 collector's art cards. In other words, it's real pretty. As far as the picture quality and sound quality on this release are concerned, ay Dios mío. So when it comes to Chainsaw, I can remember being hesitant about first buying the movie on Blu-ray because I was concerned about it looking too good. Chainsaw is always supposed to look the way it did on that ancient media VHS release that I first rented 30 years ago. Grainy, washed out, damaged, perfect. But Second Sight Films have done a glorious job here of making the Texas Chainsaw Massacre look better than it's ever looked before, without sacrificing those grindhouse aesthetics that makes the film extra spicy. The grain is still here, naturally, but it's nicely settled. The grain is more present during the darker sequences, but the blacks aren't muddy, but rather deep and inky, which resolves the grain nicely. This release provides Chainsaw with a sharp and highly detailed image overall. Robert Burns' exquisite set design really shines here, as do the designs of Leatherface's various masks, particularly the killing mask. The colors are nicely boosted here too. The greens, blues, and reds don't quite pop, I would say, but certainly look far more lush than on previous releases. What does pop in Ultra HD, and pops hard, is Daniel Pearl's jaw-dropping cinematography. Every time I see that low dolly shot that goes under the swing and follows Terry McMinn from behind as the house swells up in front of her, just blows my mind. And seeing that in glorious 4K Ultra HD was rapturous. When it comes to comparing the image quality on this release and the Dark Sky 4K, which I'm sure I'm going to be asked about, while I didn't do a side-by-side comparison or anything like that, I did notice some minor differences. For instance, the second sight release was a little brighter and slightly sharper than the Dark Sky release, at least to my eye. If I were to rank the two, I would give the advantage to the second sight release, but only by a hair. One of Grandpa's, wispy, barely hanging on, little hairs. As for audio, we're treated to the original theatrical mono mix, as well as a Dolby Atmos track. I watched with the mono track enabled, which I thought sounded rich, full-bodied, and clear as a bell. I didn't attempt the Atmos track because I don't have a surround sound setup in the man cave. Yet. So don't fret. You can take the chainsaw out of the grindhouse and into Ultra HD, but you can't take the grindhouse out of the chainsaw, even in Ultra HD. Overall, I'd give both the picture quality and the sound quality on this release perfect scores, 5 out of 5. As far as extras are concerned, first up we have The Legacy of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 45 seconds in length. It includes interviews with Jamie Blanks, Mick Garris, Fede Alvarez, Jed Shepard, Phil Noble Jr., Marcus Nispel, Heather Wixon, Rob Savage, Megan Navarro, Amanda Reyes, Adam Marcus, and quite a few others. They all discuss first seeing the film, the impact it had on them, the film's imagery, its originality, its impact on the genre, on their work, and much, much more. Next we have Behind the Mask, Alexandra Helen-Nicholas on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's 8 minutes and 40 seconds in length. Ms. Nicholas discusses the aesthetics and meanings of masks in horror cinema, particularly in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Next, we have The Shocking Truth documentary from 2000. It's 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 49 seconds in length. It includes interviews with Tobe Hooper, Robert Burns, Marilyn Burns, Alan Danziger, Paul Partain, Kim Hinkle, Robert Kuhn, Gunnar Hansen, Ted Nicolau, William Vale, and Jim Sedow. We also get 7 minutes and 41 seconds of outtakes from The Shocking Truth documentary. Next, we have Cutting Chainsaw with editor J. Larry Carroll from 2014. It's 10 minutes and 47 seconds in length. Mr. Carroll discusses meeting Tobe Hooper and getting the gig to edit Chainsaw. He discusses his other duties on the film, the intense heat, the shooting schedule, working with Tobe Hooper, writing and producing Tourist Trap, and more. Next, we have Grandpa's Tales with actor John Dugan from 2014. It's 15 minutes and 48 seconds in length. Mr. Dugan discusses becoming Grandpa, receiving directions from Kim Hinkle and Tobe Hooper, the finger-sucking scene, the makeup process, the various tensions that arose on the set during filming, and more. Next, we have The Horror's Hallowed Grounds for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2008. It's 20 minutes and 8 seconds in length. Next, we have Flesh Wounds, 7 Stories of the Saw from 2006. It's 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 42 seconds in length. It includes interviews with Daniel Pearl, Tim Hardin, the president of the official Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan club, Ed Neal, and Dr. W.E. Barnes. And we get an in memoriam segment and a look at a Cinema Wasteland Con from 2004, which featured a chainsaw reunion, as well as footage from a Genghis Khan and a Texas Frightmare Weekend from 2006, that all featured cast members from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, naturally. Next, we have Off the Hook with actor Terry McMinn from 2008. It's 17 minutes and 2 seconds in length. Ms. McMinn discusses getting cast in Chainsaw, the swing scene, the meat hook scene and how it was filmed, her life post-Chainsaw, meeting fans, and more. Next, we have The Business of Chainsaw with production manager Ron Bozeman from 2008. It's 16 minutes and 25 seconds in length. Mr. Bozeman discusses first meeting Kim Hinkle and Tobe Hooper, his responsibilities, and the challenges that arose during filming, the shooting locations, the amount of marijuana that was located on the property where they shot the film, the Bryanston Pictures deal, producing and winning the Best Picture Oscar for The Silence of the Lambs, also based on the grisly exploits of Ed Gein, and more. Next, we're taken on a tour of the Sawyer House by Gunnar Hansen from 2000. It's 8 minutes and 3 seconds in length. We get a Tobe Hooper interview from 2002, which is 13 minutes and 46 seconds in length. We get a Kim Hinkle interview from 2002, which is 8 minutes and 25 seconds in length. And it's interesting because Mr. Hinkle discusses a true crime case that inspired his contributions to the story of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He also talks a little bit about Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, aka The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Chainsaw's enduring qualities, and more. We get 25 minutes and 23 seconds of deleted scenes and outtakes. We get trailers, TV and radio spots, and a still gallery. And we get a whole bunch of audio commentaries, the first with Amanda Reyes and Bill Ackerman, the second with Tobe Hooper, the third with Daniel Pearl, J. Larry Carroll, and Ted Nicolau, the fourth with Tobe Hooper, Daniel Pearl, and Gunnar Hansen, and last but not least, an audio commentary with Marilyn Burns, Alan Danziger, Paul A. Partain, and Robert Burns. This is an incredible, stupendous, awe-inspiring release for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from Second Sight Films. Both the picture quality and the sound quality on this release are top-notch. We get new extras, a plethora of old extras, and it all comes inside this gorgeous limited edition release with the 190-page book and the art cards. Let me know your thoughts on this release down in the comments section below. And while you're down there, let me know where the Texas Chainsaw Massacre ranks among your favorite horror films of all time. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Thank you to all my patrons and channel members. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and have a say in what content appears on my channel. Join me for monthly live streams and much more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.